Hello, hello. Hey, Chew. Hey, Ben. Hey, Moose Socks. Hey, Westside. Hey, Doug. How's it going? Anybody up to anything interesting? I don't know where that came from. Recovering from a cold. It's always fun. At least you're recovering and you're not in the depth of it. I don't know why I'm yawning. I got 6 folks on right now. Ah, well, that's not recovering then. Unless you tend to cycle through colds quickly. Why am I yawning? I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm pretty sure it's Doug's fault. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, let people filter in. And we'll get the beginning stuffs out the way. I got a couple things to cover, and then we will get this thing going. Going. So for at least a short time, silver was creeping up towards $34 mark again. It's at $32.98 right at the moment. Oh, just a little tip while we're waiting for folks to filter in. You undoubtedly are going to see things popping up of people trying to sell pennies for stupid prices. just because the mint is starting to wind down the production of the penny. The penny is not just vanishing. They're not stopping producing it all at once. They're starting to wind it down and building up towards stopping producing it. And then they've already said, just like all the rest of the American money, even once they quit producing pennies, they're still going to be in circulation. So they will still be legal tender. You'll still be able to get them at banks. You'll still get them in change. At least for a time. Because they're not requiring that stores do a round off to the nearest nickel. They're letting stores decide, when they want to start doing that. And then, of course, if you play with a debit card, then it will be exact change. But yeah, so pennies are not just suddenly disappearing completely. They're not recalling them. None of that's happening. But people are going to try and take advantage of it, and they're going to try and charge ridiculous prices for them. So be wary about that. I still haven't found any 2025s of anything. Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, none of it. Of course, we don't use cash very often, so, that makes a difference. But, yeah, nothing. What little bit of pocket change we do get hasn't had anything yet. Alright, let's get the beginning stuff out the way. For anybody new, payments made via PayPal. Use cheapskatecoins@gmail.com and use goods and services only, please. We also have Cash App using the same email. Cheapskatecoins@gmail.com. If you use Cash App, it will be there. If you use Cash App, it will say Louis Kachera. That's me. You're in the right place. Say Silver Keys. Shipping is $6 to $23. $6 being a little purple bubble mailer, $23 being a large flat rate box. If you want your package sent registered, there's an additional $35 charge on top of that. It's the only way you can insure coins through the mail. Also, keep in mind, if you do registered, you will have to sign for it when it arrives. If you're new, you can't get stuff by the end of the night, or you can get stuff tonight. You just have to email us by the end of the night. Email has to have your personal info, shipping info, channel name, which payment method you're going to use, and what email you use for that payment method for invoicing purposes. If we don't get that email, you will not get anything, and we never ship without payment. Also, we do hold packages for anybody who asks. So if you want to maximize your shipping and fill your package all the way up, all you have to do is let me know, hold your package. I do always recommend shoot me an email just to remind me, just so in case it's, stuff's flying by in chat and I see it for a second and I forget. That's why I say email me just in case. Here is our Facebook link. Today's lot list is on there. It is the top post, so if you're on Facebook, go give us a follow. We do put the lot list on there every time we have a sale. We also have a mailing list. If you want to be on the mailing list, send me an email, cheapskatecoins@gmail.com, and say, add me to the mailing list. If you're on the mailing list, you will get the lot list a couple days before every sale, and as soon as it hits your email, you have the ability to pre-purchase items. So just remember, it is first come, first served, just like our sales. So if you want something, don't wait, jump on it. Also, we do not charge right away for pre-purchases. We wait until after the stream, and then we invoice everyone together. And that's pretty much, I don't say this often enough, but that's pretty much the only thing we really use the mailing list for, is just sending out the lot list. The only other thing it really gets used for is if there's like an announcement, or if like the day of the sale is going to change for that week, then we'll let everybody on the mailing list know. That's pretty much it. Thank you, sir. Hey, Philip. And that's another thing I want to remind anybody who's on right now that was at the consignment sale that hasn't paid yet, with the exception of if you're paying on Cash App. If you're at the consignment sale and you got stuff, I am not sending out payment requests this time because I need it all done friends and family for that particular one. So you are just sending your payments on your own directly as friends and family for that particular sale. So keep that in mind. I've had a couple people that forgot, so that's why I figured I'd put a reminder out. And then I do have some bad news. Unfortunately. I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah, Musash, you sent your first payment. You're good. So, I have alluded to this recently, and it finally did happen. So my wife lost her state insurance. So now we're scrambling to try and figure out how the heck we're going to do everything, because for those of you that don't know, my wife has a condition called cervical dystonia. And without all of the treatments and everything that she has to do for it, she will be reduced to a little ball of pain, crying constantly because she's just in excruciating pain all the time. She would not be able to work. She would not be able to do anything. And just the Botox alone, we're finding out, is going to be about $2,600 every time. And even the, like, what aid programs are for it, it's all reimbursement, so you still have to pay all of it up front, which we don't make enough to do that for as often as she has to do it. So we're scrambling trying to figure that out, and that's just one of the many things that she has to do. So because of that, I am going to do the final monthly loots giveaway that I said I was going to do. And then after that, until we can get things balanced and figured out again, I am going to have to stop doing the monthly loots giveaway because we can't afford to just be giving stuff away anymore. I will continue to do the sellout giveaways for any time we have a sellout of an entire list on a sale. That will continue. But the just the basic monthly one, we are going to have to stop doing after we do the upcoming one. So I just want to make sure to let everybody know that. And, you know, if we suddenly disappear, then, you know, that's because we weren't able to figure it out. She wasn't able to get her treatments. She lost her job because of it. We lost everything because of it, and we're now homeless. Which is a very real possibility that could happen. So, just so you know, if we suddenly vanish, that's what happened. And if we, just to let everybody know, if we do foresee that coming, we will ship out every package. We will figure out a way to ship every package out to make sure that you guys all get your stuff. So, yeah, it's a downer. It's, you know. Unfortunately, we live in a nation who, you know, that has a system that's set up so that everybody fails. It makes sure that, you know, it keeps the poor poor and the rich rich. Which is stupid because it's in the nation's best interest to have everybody middle class and being able to easily do everything, because then the big businesses make more because you have more money to spend with them. The nation makes more because everybody's middle class, so you're getting more tax revenue. But they don't care. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get it figured out, because if not, that's going to suck. But anywho, it's the one thing that we knew that if once it happened, we were going to be in trouble. So, and it finally happened. We finally got to a point where we're making too much money for her to keep it. So now we're completely, you know, hoping that we can avoid being potentially screwed. It's pretty much what it boils down to. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that sucks is, you know, especially with the state insurances for low income, is they're like, oh, your income went up $100, and now that means that you make too much, so you should easily be able to afford the $65,000 it's going to cost you to pay for everything that is no longer being covered. Because they know they have no middle ground. I've been saying for the longest time, like, they should have another version of the state insurance so that when you're making a bit too much, like, say, for example, you get to a position where suddenly you're making, even, let's say it's even making $500 a month too much of what their limit is. Okay, fine. So make it where you pay them $200 a month and you have like a $5 copay on everything or a $10 copay on everything. That way there's a middle ground. But no, they don't want to do that. But anywho, enough of my pissing and moaning. Let's get this thing going. Alright, kicking off, as always, with banknotes. So we did sell a couple of banknotes in pre-sale. So the Costa Rica and the Saudi Arabia are already gone. But we are starting off with the 2019 5 Cordoba from Nicaragua. Polymer banknote, uncirculated, for $4. Anybody? moving on. Next up is 2022 20 baht Thailand polymer banknote, uncirculated, $4. All right, moving on to the 1999 2000 Lei Romania polymer banknote, uncirculated, for $4. A very cool design on this one. Of course, I like anything space themed, and it's very colorful. Been for the coolness factor? Heck yeah. Why not, right? Going to Doug. Alright, next up. Oh, West Side is coming in late for the Nicaragua. You got it, sir. Alrighty. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the world notes do that. It's kind of interesting. Next up is 2003 500 kwacha from Zambia. Polymer note. Uncirculated, and again, $4. Elephant. Anybody? All right, moving on to the 2017 100 rupiah from the Maldives. It's a polymer banknote, uncirculated, going for $4. Got a giant, some kind of fish there. Big old bug-eyed fish. And a conch shell. This side is actually upright. And this one's going to west side. Gratzer. Next up, 1973 to 85 series 10 peso from the Philippines. Going for $2. All right, moving on. To 1987, 10 shillings from Kenya. Going for $2. All right, moving on. And the last one, 1975 to 77, $10 Hong Kong. So this was a 3-year design series. Going for $2. Kind of a cool piece for anybody who likes to sail with boats on it. So it's got the Hong Kong harbor. And then, have you ever seen these? Here's the little pictures in the circles. You got the Britannia looking thing with the lion. You got apparently like a ram or a goat hanging in a bow. Then on this side, apparently a dinosaur. And another boat. Bundle for the rest. I could knock $250 off the top. So it'd make it, the polymer notes would be $3.50, and these would be the non-polymers would be $1.50 each. All right, you got it. Alrighty. On to coinage. Alright, so the old Canadians, the first three went in pre-sale. So that was the 1815, 1816, and 1820. So for the coins, we are starting off with the 1838. Bank of People half-penny token. It's in a VG going for 15 bucks. That is Bank of the People of Montreal. It's kind of hard with these sometimes to keep them lit up. Alright, moving on. Alright, so these old Canadian cent tokens, you rarely ever see them looking like this. 1850. This is the St. George Upper Canada, and it is in an EF. Check that out. 25 bucks. You rarely get them looking this good. Somebody should jump on that. Alright, moving on. And the last of these, 1852, is the Man and Sash and Britannia design. That's a little bit of schmutz right there on the coin. And this is from the Quebec Bank. It's in a fine for 15 bucks. If anybody wants all three, I'll do all three for 40. That's the package deal, Moose Socks. All three for 40 bucks. Knocks $15 off. Makes it 10, 10, and 20. You got it. Very nice. Yeah, I got a bunch more of them. They're going to be coming next week. Well, I don't know about a bunch more, but there will be more in next week. All right. World Silver. My pile just fell apart. All right, World Silver. It was also kicking off with Canada. I'm going to start with the scope because these are dimes, which are smaller coins. So we did have some of the dimes went in pre-sale to Mr. Doug. So the 1905, 1909, and 1921 went in pre-sale. This one is the 1902H. It's H for Heaton and Sons. 925 sterling silver VG, $8. It's got that dark toning going on. H mint mark down there below the bow. A bit of a die clash in there too. You can see the outline of his head. Anybody? King Edward the Seventh. All right, moving on. All right, so next up is 1917. So now we got King George V. 925 sterling VG, $8. All right, moving on. To the 1919. Also VG for $8. Oh, might actually be a fine. I might have undergraded this one. Going to West Side. Congrats, sir. Alright, next up, 1929. Go away. I don't know what I just hit, but go away. So we are now into the 80% silver. Your favorite Deadhead design? Oh, the King George. King George V. Rocking the goatee. Alright, moving on. Next up, we'll call this one a West Side Special. 1947. 80% silver, AU, and rainbow toned. You can kind of see at that angle, you can see the blue, the yellow, the orange, the red. Going to West Side. And it is that way on both sides. Check all that color out, dude. And it's kind of cool because the blue toning is like right on the water. It's kind of neat. Next up, 1950 AU. Over $6. It took me a while to figure out if this was an uncirculated or an AU, but then I noticed that tiny little wear spot right on the head. Hey Brian, welcome to the channel. So that tiny, tiny little wear spot makes it AU. But this is a gorgeous AU. There's a lot of luster on this thing still. Anybody at $6? Oh, all right. Well, welcome back then. All right, moving on. To the 1961 AU, going for $5. So it's kind of starting to get that gold patina going. There you go, Mabel. I'm surviving for now. I gave a whole rundown at the beginning of what's going on with this, so if you want to see it, go watch the beginning. Later, not now. All right, moving on. Thank you, Westside. Yeah, hit that like button. And tell your friends. Get more people on here. Last for the dimes is a 67 BU. Going for $6. This is the centennial year. Beautiful BU. The fish. All right, moving on. If anybody's interested in a bundle deal for all the remaining dimes, I could probably work something out. And last two from Canada. Possibly one of the most popular Canadian dollars ever made, and I've got two of them available today. The 1958 Death Dollars. They are BUs, and they are $35 each. And that's why they're called the Death Dollar. Because they got the death totem on the back. Anybody at $35 each? If anybody wants both, I'll do both for $60. In case anybody likes stacking these. Yeah, in the U.S., they're called the Death Dollar. Wow, nobody. I'm not sure both of these would be right out the door. These things almost never make it to a second sale. All right, moving on. Oh, Doug's jumping in late on that deal. You got it, sir. Yeah, that's a really good deal on those. All right, next up. All the remaining dimes. One sec. Bundle for all the dimes. That knocks off That knocks off $8. I'll put that in chat. So the remaining dimes, BU 1967, AU 1961, AU 1950, VG 1929, $19.17 10-cent VG, and a 1902H VG, 925 sterling. So 6 dimes for 30 bucks is what it breaks down to. All right, I just need you to email me, Brian, by the end of the night. Cheapskatecoins@gmail.com is right down there at the bottom right hand of the screen. Email has to have your personal info, shipping info, your channel name. If you're going to use Cash App or PayPal to do your payment, and what email you use for that payment method so I can invoice you. I need that email by the end of the night. All right, so that makes that one 6, 6, 4, 5, 4, oops, 4 and 5. And also let me know, Brian, if you want your package held so you can maximize your shipping to fill your package up, or if you just want it shipped out. Hold it. Will do. I need to make you a card real quick. They did. 5-cent silver coins that we refer to as the fish scales because of how small they are. All right, got all those marked. All right, next up, one coin from Sweden. It is an 1899 10 ore. That's an oldie. It's in a fine. Oh, that's the wrong coin. Give me the right coin. $18.99 10 ore. Oldie. And only go for $4. And going to Brian Gratzer. The UK took over Sweden for a second. The UK took over almost everywhere for a second. All right, next up, Mexico. Kicking off with a 1953 25 centavo, 30% silver AU, $4. Or as I like to call them, the Mexican war nickels. Going to Brian. Oh, very nice. Next up, I do have a few of these. I only have one on the list, but I do have a few of these in case more than one person wants one. These are the 1948 5 peso. 90% silver. These are almost a full ounce of silver. It is BU and $45. Half Irish. It's an interesting mix. Look how beautiful that thing is. Anybody? Nice. Yeah, I'm 80% Native American and 20% German, so that's an interesting mix as well. All right, moving on to the 1955 5 peso. It's got a cool coppery patina on it. AU toned, $18. I would not be able to go that low. I would lose money at 15. Honestly, at 17, I would break even. So I'll go 17. Oh yeah, it never hurts to ask. Because if I can make a deal with you, I will. You can ask anybody. Just, I always have to keep in mind that I lose 11% off the top for PayPal fees. Got to keep, you know, keep all the wealthy people happy. Making more money. Yep. Next up, 1968 25 peso. 72% silver, BU, 22 bucks. Yeah, it's 11%. And going to Brian. Grazie. Yeah, you'll definitely have no shortage of cool world silver coins at my streams. I sell more world silver than anybody. And I by far carry more ancients on YouTube than anybody. Next up, 1972 25 peso. Yep, that has not changed. I still do a ton. World Coin Central. Anybody? AU, 20 bucks. Alright, moving on. To the 1977 100 peso. 72% silver, AU, 26 bucks. If anybody's ever wondered why these tend to be a bit more, they're bigger, thicker coins, so there's more silver in them. So they have a higher silver weight in them than the others. Very cool. Alright, moving on. And you guys are doing so well. Those are the first 3 coins that didn't sell were from those Mexicos. Next up, the Guatemala went in pre-sale. So we're on to Australia, and on Australia, the 1911 went in pre-sale. So we are kicking off with the 1917 sixpence. 925 sterling silver in good, 8 bucks. You'll take the 77? You got it. Anybody? Alright, moving on. And then the other one is 1936 sixpence. This one is in a fine for $8. Which, I might have undergraded that. That might actually be a VF. Yeah, it could be a low VF. If anybody wants both the Australias, I'll do both for $12. Save you $4 if you get both. Make them $6 each if you grab both. Anybody? All right, no love for Australia right now. Got it. And Melissa won the Dandy, won the Moose. Well, which is which? Who gets the older one? I'll just do them in the order that you put the names on. So Dandy will get the 17 and Moose will get the 36. All right, got it and got it. Moose socks, and I'm gonna need Dandy Dave's card. Alrighty, you're welcome. Next up, 1942 3p. South Africa. 80% silver AU, going for $8. Just have a little bit of toning going on. Oop, this way. Okay, it's got a decent bit of toning going on. Going to West Side. All right, next up, Switzerland. Kicking off with the 1908 half franc. Only 900,000 of these were minted. 83.5% silver in good, $6. If your children inherit your collection and you leave a note letting them know that there's big value to it, I'm sure they won't mind. That might be an overdate. Hang on. I am curious now. Get back on the actual coin. No, okay, it's not. It is not. Ooh, focus. Alright, last call on this one. Only 900,000 minted. Figure maybe 200,000 of these are still left. Going to move socks. Gratzer. No president of Switzerland says to say. Maybe we need to try that. Next up, 1929 half franc. VG for $5. I've never understood the purpose of the president. To be honest, other than just a figurehead. Like, there's nothing that the president does that Congress and a really good ambassador couldn't do. Oh, I actually never knew what the capital of Switzerland was. Very cool. No, that's a B. Seems like a B would be Bern. Alright, moving on. Two 1944 half franc. This one's in a VF for $5. I was teetering on this one between EF and VF, and I decided to play it safe. But an argument could be made for an EF, for sure. Anybody? Alright, moving on. Last one from Switzerland is 1963 half franc. This one's an AU for $10. See, on these I will do... If anybody wants all three, I'll do all three for 17 bucks. It saves you $3 if you get all three. Little bundle deal. Are you Westside, are you bidding just the one, or are you doing the bundle? That came in at like right at the same time. Been in the bundle. You got it, sir. All right. Next up, got one oldie from the Netherlands. $18.97. 25 cents. 64% silver and good. 12 bucks. Anybody? I was actually amazed Paul didn't take this in pre-sale. Paul is a big fan of the Netherlands coins. I could go 10. Going to Doug for 10. You got it. All right. And our last stop around the world today for World Silver is in France. Kicking off with the 1915 50 centimes. 83.5% silver EF, $5. Well, now you do. I don't get the that old that often. Oh, I actually have two of these. I've also got an AU for $6. So that's the EF. Here's the AU. So if anybody gets one of these, just make sure to let me know if you want the EF or the AU. And Philip is taking the AU. Congrats, sir. Anybody in the EF? Alright, moving on. And the next one, I also have two available. They're the same grade, same everything. They are 1918 50 centimes. They are both AU toned, and they are $5 each. There's the first one. And here is the second one. You can see some of that, the blue, the yellow, the orange. Anybody, $5 each. All right, moving on. So out of all the world silver, we only had 5 coins that didn't sell. It was those 3 France and then 2 of the Mexicos. So if anybody does decide you want any of those, let me know. American coinage time. Kicking off with a 1912 S. Barber. It's in a VG for $8. San Francisco Mint. Anybody? Hey, Fino. Going to Fino. Congrats, sir. All right. Next up, I discounted some of these for today just to try and clear them out. These are Roosevelt silver proof dimes. And I just did them this time as just a flat $4 each. I'm going to link them all real quick. So there's 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 2001, and 2008. All 90% silver proofs, all $4 a piece. There's your 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 2001, and 2008. For all of them? So that's 9 coins. Yeah, it's 9 coins. I'll tell you what, today only, since you asked silver, I'll do $27 for all 9. Drops them to $3 each for silver proofs. You got it. And Silver Keys, did you want me to hold your package to fill up, or do you want it just shipped? Hold, you got it. All right. Excuse me. Next up, we got one Barber Quarter. It is a 1902 plain date. In good for $10. Anybody? Oh, by the way, as always, for all of our new or returning folks, make sure you guys tell your friends. Get your friends over to our channel. Let's build this thing up and make it huge. All right, moving on. Next up, 1927 plain date, standing lib quarter. And a good for 8. Also got the 28 and a good for 8. If anybody wants both, I'll do both for 14. Saves you $2. It'll make them $7 each. Would you put it $1.03 over melt if you take the bundle per quarter? Because melt on a quarter right now is, for a 90% silver quarter right now, is $5.97. And Fino is taking the deal. Yeah, Fino beat you to those, but Moose Socks, I could do $8 on the barber if you want the barber for 8 instead of 10. All right, cool. Barber going to Moose Socks. Fino for the standings. Barber for Moose Socks. All right, next up, some Washington quotas. Of the silver variety. First one is a 1935 Denver. It is a fine. It does have that scratch on it, so because of that, it's only $10. So there's a 1935 Denver for you if you can handle it having a little scratch on the front. Alright, moving on. Two of the 1938 plain dates. Good for $10. Alright, moving on. To the 39 plain date. VG for $10. Alright, moving on. To the 41 plain date. This one's at a fine, but it does have some minor damage to it. You see that scratch right there? A little bit up there. That's why it's only $7. Yeah, standing libs are nice, for sure. Alright, moving on. To the 43 Denver. This one's in a fine for $10. Moving on to the 43 plain date, fine for $10. The OG design? You mean the Type 1? That's like, you're not actually that odd, Fino. A lot of people didn't like them. With dolphins? I never even knew there was a design that would have had dolphins. Huh. Alright, moving on. Man, no love for Washington quarters, huh? Alright, 1945 plain date. This one's in a fine for $10. Alright, moving on to the 47 Denver. This one's in a VF for $10. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. That sounds cool. Alright, moving on to the 1951 plain date VF for $10. Alright, moving on to the 51S. VF for $10. Clem? I don't know what Clem means. Oh, Klein. Okay. Alright, moving on. And the last one, 54S VF. $10. And here is one of my big deals for the night. Hang on. Gotta double check my math. As a bundle deal for these quarters, I will do all 11 for $87. That's $20 off. So it makes all the $10 ones would be now $8. And then the $7 one stays $7. $87 for all 11. Man, nobody wants that deal. All right. Next up, I do have a year of the state quarter silver proofs. Got the 2008, so that's Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Hawaii, and Alaska. And I'm going to give you guys the good deal tonight. For $45 for the full year. $15 off if you get the full year. 90% silver proofs. There's the Arizona. There's your New Mexico. There's your Oklahoma. There's your Hawaii. And there is your Alaska. $12 each or $45 for the year. Anybody? Yeah, it would not take long to sit on, even if you just threw them in tubes, to sit on those quarters, and eventually the melt will just be worth more than what you spent on them. Because by 2030, silver is going to be probably permanently over $40 per ounce. But, all right, man, no love on the quarters. All right, moving on. All right. Next up, I got some silver Kennedy proofs. Starting with the 94. 90% silver proof, $15. moving on. Do the 96. This one's going for 20 bucks. It was a bit of a better year for the early silver proof sets. Yep, you do not get much more decam than that. Man, we were at 17 like 10 minutes ago. Now we have 8. Where'd everybody go? All right, moving on to the 98. This one's going for 18. Moving on to the 06. Going for 15. So melt on these right now is just shy of 15 bucks. Or just shy of 13 bucks. Or 12 bucks. 12 bucks. 11.94. There we go. That is the melt. All right, moving on. No love for Kennedys tonight either, I see. Last one is the 2008. I could probably do a bit of a bundle on the Kennedys if anybody wants them all. But moving on. So if anybody does want to know about that, let me know. Alright, next up, got a couple of Ikes. These are the 1971s. You got the Plain Date and the Denver. If anybody wants both as the set, I'll do both for $7. Give you $1 off. So these were the no mint set year. 71 and 72. These were not in mint sets. So it's just the one that managed to stay nice throughout the years. You need 92, 97, 99, and 05. You know me, I'll get them eventually. I need all of them. I just can't afford to do them. Someday. Alright, moving on. Alright, next up, we got 3 BU Susan B. Anthony's. Got the 79 Denver BU for $5. 80 plain date on a Gem BU for $8. And an 80 San Francisco BU for $5. And if anybody wants all 3, I'll do all 3 for $14. It's $4 off if you get all 3. And what side's taking that deal? Kratzer. Must perform your manly duties. That's more information than we needed. Alright, and the last few lots, we've got some of the silver commemorative proof dollars. First one is the 83 San Francisco Olympic Discus. 90% silver proof, $24. This is a collection I really want to do someday. I want to get all the modern commemorative proof dollars. Because I just think that would be a really cool collection. Thank you, sir. Alright, moving on to the 86 San Francisco Ellis Island. Over $28. Moving on to the 1988 San Francisco. This is the Passing of the Olympic Flame. Over $24. moving on. And the last one, 1990 Philadelphia Ike. One for $30. I'm going to do another one of my crazy deals for you guys right now. Anybody wants alt 4? I'll do alt 4 for $89. That's $17 off. That drops this one from 30 to 25. This one drops from 24 to 20. Drops this one from 28 to 24. And this one from 24 to 20. Or if you just break it down, it makes them $22.25 each. Which, by the way, if anybody has not noticed yet, because I'm doing this at really low prices based on what I bought them at a while ago, because they've just been sitting here. So allow me to direct your attention to chat real quick. The price I just quoted you is more than $3 below melt per coin. Doug, do you want it, or do you want to let Silver Keys have it? That's why it pays to know about what the melt-on stuff is. Oh, Silver Keys, he's letting you have it. All right, recap. World Silver. The only coins that are left for World Silver are the 48 5 peso, the 72 25 peso, the 1950 50 centimes France, and both of the 1918s that are both AU tones. Anybody on any of those? At the rate y'all were going, it was almost seeming like you were heading towards another sellout. All right. And then for the American, the only thing that's left is every Washington quarter, because apparently everybody hated Washington quarters tonight. Bundle for all the World Silver. Oh, let's see. What'd be the best I could do? Oh, regular price would have been regular price for all of it would have been $80. I can knock $5 off. I can make it 75 for all of it. That'd be the best I'd be able to do. All right, you got it. Oh, yeah, so all the quarters for the Washington quarters, including the 2008 state quarters, all the Kennedy silver proofs, the 2 Ikes are what's left. So, of course, I did the bundle for these. So, 11 quarters, $87. The bundle price for the proof state quarter year set is $45. Then there's the Kennedys and the 2 Ikes. Last call on everything. Oh, and I did a deal on the Ikes. If you get both of them, that it was $7. And I'm figuring it out real quick. Because I could do a little bit of a bundle deal on the Kennedys as well. So if somebody were to take advantage of all the bundles and take everything that was left, it'd be $211. The Kennedy $half silver proof bundle, I'd be able to knock. It was 2, 4, 7. It'd be $11 off the top. So $211 away from a sellout. Yep. But, all right, last call on everything, and then I'm getting out of here. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for coming out. As always, like I said, tell your friends. Let's get some more folks up over here and grow this thing and make it big. Big, big, big. And as always, give me a little bit to get all the invoices together and sent out. Anybody, if you can get your payments in by tomorrow night, I would be very, 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 very appreciative. So, hey, everybody, have a great night.